Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'm going to be discussing something that is near and dear to my heart, and that's raising awareness for a neurological condition called neurofibromatosis. There are three main types of neurofibromatosis. You have neurofibromatosis type 1, neurofibromatosis type 2, then you got the third part of neurofibromatosis, and ironically it's got a slightly different name. It's called Schwannomatosis. I don't know if I said that one correct, but neurofibromatosis, it affects 1 out of every 3,000 individuals. And also neurofibromatosis can be genetic, or it can come across as a spontaneous mutation. Now, like in my case, mine was spontaneous mutation. I have no family history of neurofibromatosis, so I was the first one in my family to be diagnosed with it. And if you have neurofibromatosis, there is a 50% chance that you will pass it on to your child. And unfortunately, they claim neurofibromatosis to be a common condition, yet a lot of doctors have never even heard of neurofibromatosis at all. There's been times I've had to school my own medical doctor on what neurofibromatosis really is. As far as the symptoms of neurofibromatosis goes, it wildly varies from person to person. But some of the main signs of NF that is universal is having these spots that are called cafe au lait spots. They look like regular birthmarks, but they're a little bit more rigid, and these birthmarks are a little bit different because when put under, I believe it's UV light or black light, they fluorescent. Namely, you'll have like cafe au lait spots or freckling around the underarm pits and in the groin area. Another telltale sign of neurofibromatosis is actually having tumors that are on top of the skin. To the untrained eye, people don't know, it looks like bumps or zits, but they're actually tumors that are growing on top of the skin. And what you see on top of the skin is only the tip of the iceberg. As to the roots, they're down below into the skin. Right here I'm going to pop in a little picture of what I'm talking about with those types of tumors. Okay, as you can see right here, this is my abdominal area. It's in this picture here I was having one removed, and it's the largest one. Now, I will show another picture, but I'll do it later. It's pretty graphic, and it may not be suitable for all viewers. So when I go to put that picture up, I will give a 10-15 second heads up, for you to fast forward through it, or if you want to see it. And YouTube, if you're listening, I'm doing this for educational purposes, medical purposes. It is not meant to disgust people. I'm giving fair warning of this said content, and it's for educational purposes. So please, don't demonetize the channel, don't take the content down, because I'm just trying to educate people. Okay, moving on. You also have another type of tumor that's fairly common with neurofibromatosis, and that's subcutaneous tumors, meaning it's under the skin, and they're typically called Plexiform Neurofibromas. They grow along the nerves, literally on the nerves, and they can grow anywhere in the body, anywhere where there's a nerve. I've had countless subcutaneous tumors removed, and they have to be removed surgically. And there's always a risk when they remove them tumors that you could end up coming out in that area numb or not having any feeling. Take, for example, it was back in, 2019? I had one removed off my thigh. It was fairly deep, and after I came out of the surgery, the left side of my thigh came out numb, and it's still numb to this day. I ain't got no feeling in that little small area. These tumors here, the Plexiform Neurofibromas, they do have a tendency to become malignant, meaning cancerous, but the statistics on that is 4%. And I can't remember what it's called. I believe it's called a stealth tumor. It's something along those lines. My mind's rusty right now. But out of that 4%, if you do end up having one to become malignant, then it can become serious fast. The survival rate for a plexiform neurofibroma that becomes malignant, it's drastically lower. Typically, say if you develop a cancerous one, malignant one, like in your arm, chances are they'll opt to amputate said limb, because if it becomes malignant, it can spread fast. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm trying to educate people on realities of neurofibromatosis. Now, some people, like I said before, the symptoms of neurofibromatosis varies wildly. If you just look at me right now, you wouldn't think that I have neurofibromatosis. There's a lot of people that's got a whole lot worse case than I do. Some people that are literally covered from head to toe in tumors, skin tumors. And also along with neurofibromatosis comes skeletal issues. You also have disfigurement from, the tumors that come up on the skin. But getting past that, now I'll discuss some of the other problems that can come along with neurofibromatosis. One of the next biggest things with neurofibromatosis, and that's the danger of developing brain tumors. Now, with neurofibromatosis, I know that sounds scary, brain tumors, but I've seen in a lot of cases people with NF, neurofibromatosis, they can develop a benign brain tumor, meaning it's not non-cancerous, and sometimes they don't do nothing but just watch the tumor to make sure there ain't no changes in it, it ain't growing, or it ain't becoming malignant. With me, like when I was a child, they thought at one point that I had a brain tumor, but thank the Lord, after we got a second opinion, they said against it, that they want one there. But there's that, and there's also the issue of cardiovascular issues, such as hypertension, high blood pressure, so forth. Now, with me, I have developed the cardiovascular issues. I have high blood pressure, hypertension, and I have tachycardia. Tachycardia is when your pulse rate is 100 or more at rest. more so, in my case, it's the tachycardia than hypertension. And there's been times when my pulse rate's been up to 200 beats per minute, which is a danger zone. But they are contributing that the hypertension and tachycardia is a product of my neurofibromatosis. Okay, and another thing that goes along with neurofibromatosis, and it's a fairly common part in NF, and that's learning disabilities. Some children with NF may have a harder time trying to keep up with their peers, have a hard time taking in the information. I know even me, when I was a youngin', I had a little bit of the learning disability issue, but not as severe, like I said, as other cases. And probably what I would say, the number one thing with neurofibromatosis is the chronic pain. Me, I constantly live in pain. They have tried several things, and all it does is put a band-aid on the issue. With NF, with it affecting the nerves and developing, tumors, it can be near impossible to try to keep up with the issues. Not only that, neurofibromatosis, with it dealing with your nervous system, sometimes things go haywire and you're set in a world of hurt. I'm being blunt about it, trying to be honest and transparent as I can be. And unfortunately, with neurofibromatosis, there's no cure for neurofibromatosis. All they can do is just manage the symptoms, and try to keep an eye and a watch on what's going on. But unfortunately, as of date, there are no cures for neurofibromatosis. Alright, now I'm going to read a small article I found on the internet that can help bring a little bit more clarity and explain the issue better than I can. But I was trying to describe neurofibromatosis from my perspective. Now, like I said, each case is almost different, so it's almost impossible to give an exact description of it. But anyhow, I'll get on reading this article. Because NF1, neurofibromatosis type 1, is an unpredictable disorder, it varies widely in severity, even among two people within the same family. Some people with NF may be completely unaware that they are affected, experiencing only a few capsular spots or bumps on the skin during their lifetime. Others may develop at any time specific medical and cosmetic complications related to the disorder. While this variability makes it difficult to know what to expect for a child with unencapsulated spots, it is important to understand the following points about the complications related to neurofibromatosis type 1. Severe complications are not inevitable. Although medical literature highlights the most severe cases of the disorder, this condition in part because only the more severity affected people are likely to be reported to the medical community. For every severely affected person who comes to the medical attention, there may be several mildly affected people who do not seek medical care. Sorry about that, my throat's drying out. Some complications appear early in life. Major bone deformities associated with this disorder are usually apparent in infancy. A child who is 5 years old and has only cephalothrombosis spots has escaped some of the severe complications. While many people experience some cosmetic impact from the condition, these problems are typically possible to manage. Virtually no individual with NF1 gets every possible complication, and most of the severe complications are uncommon. The definition of a severe problem may be different from one person to the next. However, most people with NF1 live long, productive lives free of threatening complications. Wow, that is true that some people do have mild symptoms of neurofibromatosis. Yet some people, it affects greatly. Like I said in the beginning of the article, it says it's an unpredictable disorder. You can only give a blanket term and try to tell people of your experiences with this condition, but when it comes down to it, it's like a snowflake. Each one is different. No two cases will ever be the same. Alright, and there's several good sources to get information about neurofibromatosis. If you're on Facebook, there are a multitude of great groups for people that has someone they love that's affected with neurofibromatosis. One of the groups is called Faces of Neurofibromatosis. This is on Facebook. Then there's several more. Another awesome person who brings awareness to NF, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and his name is Reggie Bibbs. He has started a foundation called the Just Ask Foundation, where he goes around, basically, I almost say he's touring. He's got his own bus with the NF graphics and the Just Ask Foundation, and he's an awesome advocate for neurofibromatosis and an awesome person as well. Reggie Bibbs, he also done a documentary, I believe it's on TLC. Life of me, I cannot remember what it's called. My cat's scratching at the door. He wants in. But if you want to have any more questions, please don't hesitate to put the questions down in the comments, and when I get enough questions, I'll make an updated video answering your specific questions about neurofibromatosis. This is my first video on the subject, so there's a lot of points I've probably missed, but if you have any questions, like what Reggie Bibbs says, just ask me. Ask someone with NF. If you're just curious about the condition, or if somebody you love, your child, or even you have been diagnosed with it and want to know more about, this condition. And like I said, don't hesitate to put the comments down in the comment section, the questions, and just ask me, and I'll try to make another video touching on specific topics. Alright, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, turn on that notification bell if you want to see more videos like this and see me explain what neurofibromatosis is and share my perspective, what I've experienced 30 years with it. all through my life. So, until then, see y'all later, and God bless.
Warning: this scene contains content from actual medical procedures. Viewer discretion advised.
Alright, now that we're at the end of the video, I'm going to be showing those pictures I talked about earlier from one of the surface tumors I had removed here a while back. This is your fair warning. It's pretty graphic, it's bloody, but it's there to raise awareness and to show these tumors just how deep they really go down into the skin, and that quite literally all you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg, and why it is very important that you have a dermatologist or a doctor who knows what they're doing to remove these tumors, because if you just cut the top of it off, it's just going to grow right back because the roots are still there. You know, it's like a tree, or weeds. If you just cut it off at the top, it's going to grow back. You got to kill the roots and get the roots out to stop it. But anyhow, here's your fair warning, and here it comes. Alright, as you can see right here, the top of it is right there, and it was actually too big to fit in the regular test tubes. They had to get basically a cup to put the tumor in after it was removed, as you can see right here. And you see with this here, now we at this view, if he would have cut the tumor just at the tip, that root would have still been in my torso, and it would have just grown right back. Since he done it right, he got the roots out of it, the tumor has not returned, nor has it given me any issues. So, until then, see y'all later, and God bless.